My dream of getting into the game industry started at age, I would say 8, like when I got my first gaming console, the Nintendo 64. That's why I have the huge collection in the background as well. So it all started with that. I'm a huge fan of the Nintendo brand and like their IPs and their games, which bring a lot of fun to me, and that's when I started to be like, I want to work on those fun games. I got into video game collecting and into the video game industry because of the Nintendo 64, and I always had a lot of games for the console. So at one point I just decided to, okay, I already have so many games, I want to get the complete library. And there's like over 230 games released worldwide for the console. And I right now have in my possession, I think 162 or 63. And I actually still have the games in the box that I got back then. So like, for example, I still have the same Pokemon Snap I used to have back in the days. It's quite in the rough shape because I was a child, and I didn't throw away the box, but I ripped away like the price tag, and every collector's heart is like dying because seeing the huge rips on this, but this is still my childhood copy, so this is something I don't want to upgrade, you know, for better condition, because it's still the same copy I had back then. It was probably when I turned like 15, when I was looking for internships, and then I found out, hey, there's actually video game companies in Germany where you could apply for an internship. Unfortunately, I was too young back then, but you could apply as soon as you started going to university and have like an internship which would be part of your studies. I started studying programming. Unfortunately, my lack of skill it didn't come to a graduation, so I failed, unfortunately, in programming. Because when I saw these games, I wanted, of course, to know, okay, how are they actually built, and can I do this myself? And then I started to look, okay, what can I actually study to get into the game development and the gaming industry? And one part, of course, is programming. So I started to study programming, but unfortunately I failed, and then looked into other opportunities of what's possible. So marketing and PR was the next logical step for me to get my foot into the door of the video game industry. Still, it was always my goal. I never had a plan B. It was always my plan A to so if someone would ask me nowadays, like, what would you do if you weren't in the game industry? I have no idea, because that was my plan A. I never had a plan B. Up here we have a box Wii U, a collector's edition of Xenoblade Chronicles, and then a Jaguar in the box. And I found this at the attic of the husband of my sister. So this is actually quite the uncommon console, because it failed in the US and also in Europe. So finding this in the box is like, yeah, a holy grail, kind of a holy grail for me. And it's still in working condition. Unfortunately, the box is quite beat up. I did another internship just for like an online marketing agency, which was not at all involved in the video game market at all, but that was so boring. So when I started at Koch Media, I was a marketing assistant for specifically the German market. So I was doing advertisement in magazines, on websites, and like the classical marketing stuff and campaigns you see at billboards, etc. And then with the establishment of our new label Prime Matter, I started to dive into the brand position of where I'm then actually more involved and like the direct contact for the development. So that shifted from like just executing German marketing campaigns to I'm the one who's telling our territories and our external partners how we want to position the game and how it's supposed to be advertised and how it's supposed to be positioned in the market.
It sounds like a big development.
Yeah, it is. Like, it was a big change for me, like switching the teams, but I'm happy with the situation because it's more of the thing I actually wanted to do instead of just booking. I mean, it sounds too negative, but you know, just doing classical marketing advertisement. One of my top 5 favorite games, I would say, is Super Smash Bros. So that's the fighting game of Nintendo. With the Smash Bros. Game, the Wii U one they started the amiibo figures, and yeah, I just got into the first wave, like the first rows, like the first wave they released. I got all of them, and then at a certain point I was like, okay, if I start to get like the first wave, I need to get all of the characters that are in the game, because they are releasing every character from Smash Bros. As an amiibo. And well, as you can see, it went out of hand. I think I'm up to the latest one, and for viewers who are into amiibo collecting, actually I'm missing one amiibo that is, if you see this whole wall, you will maybe find out which one I'm still missing that they have released. It is different than you look from the outside, because you only see like the magnificent trailers, artworks, but there's a lot of effort and work put into this. And you also, in most cases, you see the end result of the video game, right? Like when it's in the stores and at the shelves. But like I see the whole process of when we signed a contract with the studio, and then the actual development process. I'm part of the whole process. So seeing a game from contract signage to actually full release is a whole different story, and it's just it's a way different experience of what I expected when I started in the industry. It's not better or worse. It's just a different experience. Like I didn't expect most of the stuff that I would be involved so much, especially since I'm a brand manager. Like I start at the beginning of production. I talk to the developers. I'm the contact person for every outside company who's interested in the title or who wants to work with us. So I'm the main contact person, and also the main contact person for the developers if they have any issues, any questions. So I didn't expect that, you know, like my childhood brain was like, oh, they make video games. They probably play video games all day in the office and then just release the game. Yeah, that's not how it works. There's a long process to get a video game into store shelves. I have a good example for like regional differences of Nintendo 64 games. So I have the American release of Blast Corps, which the American release differs. It has the full cover art, key art of the game. So if we look at the European version, for example, it's famous for their black borders. Most of the first party releases of Nintendo have the black borders in Europe. And then if we look at the Japanese release, it actually has a different name. It's not called Blast Corps there, it's called Blast 'Em All Blastozer. So I actually bought this for €1 at eBay, so quite the cheap find. In my dream world, I would actually put the games with the cover up front, like this, because I mean the artwork is the thing I like about the games.
Going from programming to marketing, does it still feel like you are doing video games?
It does still feel like I'm doing video games, not in like a programming type of way, of where I say, okay, this feature is like I would program it this way. This is not how it would work. But like from a creative point of view, I'm actually quite involved in the project and how the go-to-market plan is actually laid out. How do we want to position the game? Creative input on trailers and also on features sometimes, where they are still developing the features and we are testing it internally first, and then of course going out to events as well, getting some external feedback on certain features. So I'm actually involved in the process of maybe a feature is not working out the way the developers intended it to be. So I have a voice, a small voice, but I still have a voice of how the game is supposed to roll out and on certain features if they work out. I can keep my love for video games still. It's now just because back then, you know, I had more time. I was in school, I was in university, just had more free time. And now, since I'm also working on video games, I try to, it doesn't look like it, but I try to shift my time also to do other stuff than just video games. Video games is still my #1 hobby, but I also try to play as many video games as possible. But you know, working in this industry, like working like a 8 to 10 day shift and then going back and still do something with video games, I try to separate it. Not every day do something with video games after my working hours, but yeah. I know it doesn't look like it, but it's quite easy to gift me something for my you know, like I remember like my siblings always say, like, or when I ask them, when they would say, okay, well, what do you want, what do you wish for? And they're like, I don't know. And it's for me like, yeah, here's a list of video games I still need. I got this also from eBay, and I got this for a super cheap price though. It was next to a village where I used to study, and someone posted this for €10 if you pick it up. And that's what I did.